Florida just became an open carry state. No new law was passed. So a case out of Tallahassee has just overturned decades of gun laws here in the state of Florida. I want to talk to you about this. This is a major development, but it comes from what we've been talking about in some of my other videos with the Bruin case. It all starts with the fact that in Florida, it is a crime. They're going to arrest you if you openly carry a firearm. Can't do it, folks. You're going to jail if you do. Well, there was this guy, McDaniels, and on the 4th of July of 2022, he got out his Constitution and he got out his firearm and he's wearing it, and he stands on the corner of a busy intersection in Pensacola. Beautiful place, and it's the 4th of July a couple years ago, and he is wanting to be arrested for openly carrying this firearm so that he can challenge this law. And now, here we are talking about it because the 1st District Court of Appeal reviewed his case and said, you know what? We're striking down this law. We're finding it unconstitutional. Now, you may ask yourself, why is this unconstitutional? Well, we have to rewind a little, okay? Let's go back to the beginning in Florida, 1987, Florida Statute 790.053. We pass a law in Florida. 87 was a great year for music. What a bad year for the Second Amendment and you gun owners out there, because Florida decided that you can't openly carry a firearm. Not only can you not do it, it's not like a speeding ticket where we're gonna fine you. It's actually a crime. We're gonna put handcuffs on you. We're gonna send you to jail if you openly carry a firearm. Well, McDaniels wanted to challenge that on the 4th of July in Pensacola. He did that. The reason it worked in the 1st District Court of Appeal, where McDaniel was, is because of the recent Supreme Court cases like in Heller and Bruin, which I have lots of videos on. The Supreme Court of the United States said if you want to regulate the Second Amendment and firearms, you better make sure that those regulations conform with the history and all the things that historically we've done with firearms since the writing of that Second Amendment. Now, if you just read the Second Amendment, folks, you're gonna ask a pretty simple question, because we're dealing with the English language, and our Constitution says you have the right to keep. Everybody knows what keep means. I can have a firearm around here. I get it, keep. And bear arms. And McDaniels was just pointing out what everybody's been pointing out. What does it mean historically to bear arms? This McDaniels case out of the 1st District Court of Appeal said, you know what? When we look at the history of the Second Amendment, actually, people were bearing arms just like McDaniels was. People were actually holstering these things. They had them out in the open. So historically, you get to do that under the United States Constitution. Therefore, Florida's law from that nostalgic year of 1987, when I graduated from high school, so much good music, that law out the window, unconstitutional. Here's what happens next, because this is even more interesting. We have 6 district courts of appeals in Florida, and some of you are asking, John, is Florida a open carry state? Does this mean that we all get to carry guns out in the open in Florida? I say not so fast, because this is not a Florida decision. This is a 1st District Court of Appeals decision. And just because something happens in the 1st District Court of Appeal does not mean I can go in Orlando, which we are the 6th district. I can't go to the Orlando court and force them to follow what some other district court of appeal did. Can't do it. I can try to do it, and I love doing it, but it's not binding on them. Something weird happened on this McDaniel case. The Attorney General of the state of Florida, our chief prosecutor, basically wrote a memo after this and said, you know what? I'm instructing every prosecutor, every sheriff in the state of Florida not to follow this law, and instead to follow the court's decision in McDaniels, let everybody open carry in this state. So it's an interesting development. I think this law needs clarification from a higher court. I really do. But hey, we've got this decision. This law is unconstitutional. I think it's the right decision if you read Bruin and if you read the law in Florida on open carry, these two don't jive together. How are you going to bear arms if you can't, what does that mean to bear arms? It makes a lot of sense that they struck this down. However, folks, this is not a free-for-all yet, okay? I think not only do we need more clarification, but also remember there are lots of restrictions on the carrying of firearms. So there's still a lot to be decided, but this is a major update. I will keep you posted because I don't think this is the end of it. I think there will be more litigation. I think there will be other district courts of appeal that want to lay into this law and figure out whether they are going to follow what the First District Court of Appeals did. I'll keep you posted. Please stay safe out there, folks.